Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Hey guys, and welcome to today's podcast episode. I really am delighted about today's guest, David Barnett. He's from Canada and he is a thought leader. And we recently connected at VidFest where he talked about how he used YouTube to actually grow his business. And he's got a lot of fantastic ideas around using YouTube to build and grow his client base, his business, some of the principles, key concepts. He's also the author of the book Buying versus Starting a Small Business and how to avoid 21 mistakes people do when trying to buy a business. So we'll talk about how he uses expertise, how he used YouTube, and I'm really happy to have him on. David, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Chris. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I know we connected at VidFest last week and you gave a fantastic presentation, really insightful about YouTube and being a thought leader, influencer. So briefly introduce yourself and we'll dive into the content.
Yeah. So my background is in the world of small business, and I've been a small business owner of several different businesses, and it led me eventually to the world of small business finance brokerage. So I actually used to be a broker of commercial debt for small and medium-sized businesses. So people that wanted to borrow money to get equipment in their business or something like that, I would help them out in that way. And that eventually led me into the world of business brokerage. Back in 2009 through the end of 2011, I was a business broker and I had my own office and I helped people buy and sell companies. And it was a very interesting and exciting career and a terrible business, quite honestly, because business brokers typically get a commission when the business is sold from the seller, just like the real estate model. And what can happen with real estate or with business brokerage is that you can list a perfectly good business for sale and it can take months to find a buyer. And you can spend months working on a deal between two parties and have it fall apart. And then you don't get paid. Then you have to start over again. And so throughout the 3 different years that I was in business as a broker, I sold 35 companies for other people. But in each of those years, I had a period of 7 to 9 months without any deals closing. So it was a very feast or famine kind of business. I eventually decided to get out of it and became a banker, actually. And then through my banking career, people kept calling me up looking for advice on how to do these deals. And when the bank reorganized in 2015, I thought, you know what, I should build a new business based on the experiences that I have, but I'm going to do it differently. And so now our business is a consulting business and we work with buyers and sellers who want to do small business transactions. And we act as a consultant. So we do certain tasks for people and we build them along the way. It's not a contingency-driven revenue model anymore. And what it does for me is it smooths out my cash flow, so it makes the business better for me. But what it does for the people I work with is it removes the conflict of interest between myself as an advisor and the person trying to do a deal. I often liken it to if you go to a car dealership and you say, I'm having trouble getting around town, they likely will not recommend a bus pass, right? Because they're trying to sell cars. And when I was a business broker and people would approach me about buying a business, I would give them advice, but ultimately I was trying to sell businesses. And today my sole focus is just on working on the interests of whoever my client is and what they're trying to do. And a lot of the times it means telling sellers maybe that their business isn't sellable and what they need to do in order to make it into a more sellable business. And with my buyers, it can mean pointing out, hey, this is not a good deal for you and here's why. Here's what might make it a better deal, and helping them to try and negotiate with the seller. And if they can't make a deal work, just save their resources and time and energy for a deal that makes more sense. And to your point about YouTube, 11 years ago, I started to go on YouTube and I started to talk about these topics and create a resource for people that typed questions into the internet looking for answers to questions about these kinds of deals. And that's how we get clients as a consulting firm. So people find the online content, and if they want to learn more, they subscribe. If they want to learn even more than that, we've got a couple of online learning resources that we have. Or if people want to hire us, that's the ultimate goal, is that people raise their hand and want to do business with us, and we work with those people. And largely it's clients within North America, although we do help people in the UK and Australia and New Zealand as well from time to time. But it's largely a US and Canadian audience.
Yeah, and because a lot of the audiences, they're thinking about this link between YouTube and what you did before. And so what I really loved about your idea is you do not consider yourself a YouTuber. Your channel's got over 50,000 subscribers, but you use YouTube as a tool. So talk about the benefits of growing a channel to 50,000 and how it's really helped you automate and get leads and educate, etc.
Sure. I think, first of all, people get onto a platform like YouTube and they think that they need to build an audience in order to get value from the platform. And the reason why I chose YouTube was because I wanted something that was going to do something else for me. I wanted to be able to host videos in a place that didn't cost me any money and that it would be easy to share from, and it would be easy to embed the videos on different websites that I set up. And so YouTube does all those things for somebody. And in the beginning, I would create videos answering questions or talking about our different consulting services, and then I would just embed those videos on our web pages that we built for those things. And when people would talk with me about potentially working with them, I would often share video links saying, hey, watch these 3 videos. It covers the topic that you're interested in, that you want to work with me on. And so it was helping to make the sales process go more quickly. Because if anyone out there has done any kind of sales, what you'll notice is you answer the same questions all the time, or you're making the same presentations all the time. And so you might as well just record yourself and make those resources available. So in the beginning, almost all the views came from me sharing links with people. But then over the course of time, as other people went on the internet looking for the answers to their questions, if I came up as an answer to their question, then all of a sudden I'd get viewers from outside my own community. And that's when I started to grow the audience. And I think it took me, let me think here, it took me like 4 years to get to 100 subscribers. And then it took me another couple of years to get to 10,000.
Yeah.
And then that was 2020. And then since then it's grown to 50,000. So you can see like the growth rate really is a long stretched out curve. And a lot of people who get onto a platform like YouTube, they'll be on there for a year and they don't get enough subscribers. They think that they've failed. And I think that the key is to figure out what your purpose is in creating the content. For me, it was to help my sales process. I knew that if I built an audience over time, it would help in the other part, which is prospecting clients. And so that's the big thing that's changed from before till now, is now we don't go out looking for clients in particular. Like, people find us on a regular enough basis that it keeps our sales pipeline full and keeps me and my team busy. And I do go looking for audiences. You know, that's why I want to appear on a podcast like yours, Chris, is to talk about what we do and make people aware. But really now having an audience is what provides the constant lead flow of new prospective customers or clients that we're going to work with.
Yeah. And the other, what I really love is you mentioned during your presentation, your talk, where basically YouTube and the algorithm and the videos that you put on it was Evergreen. And that basically, as it grew, it saved you significant amount of time, because like you were talking about, brokers have to go out and chase leads, they have to be on calls, and it's this endless rat race. But talk about how it freed up your time and what you use your time to grow and expand your business?
Yeah, sure. So there's 2 kinds of content on YouTube. If you think about the different channels you might subscribe to, there are the people who are emulating television, right? So every week there's like a new episode, and there's like this ongoing story or ongoing commentary. Maybe there are people who are talking about current events or the news and things of that nature. And so that content is really interesting in that period of time. And so as that stuff gets older, you know, if you're looking up political commentary kind of stuff, you're like, no one's going to go look at political commentary from 5 years ago. People are interested in what's happening now with the news, right? And so what I've tried to do is I've tried to create a very different kind of content. So I will take a question that somebody asks and I'll create one video that answers that one question. Now, people might be asking that same question for years into the future. And this is the key to this whole strategy, is that if somebody asks exactly that question from a video that I made years ago, that video very well may be the top result in YouTube or on Google, right? Because they're connected with each other. And one of the things that I showed everyone in that presentation was the top 10 videos from the 90 days before I gave my talk. And only 2 of those videos were from 2025. And I think the oldest one this is the top 10 list, the oldest video was from 2016 in the last 90 days. So I've got videos that are years and years old that are still the top watched videos because people just happen to be looking for those specific questions. And anyone who's in any kind of business, for example, you've got doctors and other professionals, dentists, things like that in your audience. So if somebody has a question about teeth whitening, let's say, right? And maybe they want to learn about it because they're thinking about doing it. If you are a dentist in Atlanta, Georgia, and you offer that service, you could think of all the questions people ask you about teeth whitening. But here's the thing, when you make the videos, what you want to do is you want to make the question, you want to make that the title of the video, and then maybe add something like in Atlanta, Georgia. So that if people are looking for these questions and they're maybe mentioning the city that they're in, then that's going to make it easier for you to become one of the top results versus a video that was made 10 years ago that talks about teeth whitening, for example. And so now we're talking about answering people's questions, but we're talking about finding the right people who are most likely going to use that service, which for a dentist are going to be people in their own community, right? Who can come over to the office. So it's all about that idea of, I call it like a fisherman. A fisherman puts a hook on his line, puts it in the water. And each one of these videos with one of these questions that is being answered is like another hook in the sea. So it's another opportunity for somebody who's Googling questions or whatnot to come and find my content. I'll be interested to see how this all gets affected by AI, because I know that AI bots are like consuming this stuff and coming up with answers and things. I know that when I go and do certain questions to ChatGPT, for example, and just ask it about deal making, it comes up sometimes with some pretty funky answers. So I don't trust everything you read on there, but I'm waiting to see if maybe some of the content that I've got out there will encourage deeper research or encourage people to come over. I don't know. We're going to see. It could be a lot of changes here coming in the next little while.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Hey, business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 125,000 bonus miles for a limited time through October 29th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends October 29th, 2025.
Yeah. A follow-up question I have for you is, so given the amount, basically, YouTube is doing a lot of the kind of the heavy groundwork, and it allows you to focus on your specific skill. And a lot of creators and influencers, when they're listening to this, they're like, oh, that's a new way of looking at YouTube, because there's a lot of YouTube channels they devote, that's their thing. That's how they monetize, and they've got a professional team of editors. But is most of your time just focused on growing and scaling your YouTube channel, or is it more using YouTube as a resource to grow and scale your business and your clients?
I think that there's two kinds of businesses you can say are involved with YouTube as a platform. There is a business for which the video is their product. So these are people who put a lot of time and effort into making a video that they hope will be watched by many people because they're going to get monetization through AdSense, for example.
Yeah.
And then there's people who sell other stuff. That's what I am. I'm selling our consulting services and our education products, and me going out and doing a public speaking address. Like, these are the things we're trying to sell. So I'm not that interested in tweaking all the different knobs that can be tweaked to get more views on a particular video. I'm thinking more about who ideally is the individual I want to watch this video. And so this could surprise you, Chris, but I don't do any editing at all. None. So I use StreamYard like you do. And the reason that I like StreamYard is because I can upload my little intro video and my exit video at the end. And I can just hit record and I can tell people, hey, today I'm talking about this. With a click of a button, I play my intro reel. Then I come in, I talk about the topic. I give my opinion, answers, I teach, maybe I share my screen. And then I click the exit video and then it's done. It's recorded. I'm able to rip the audio right off of it so that I can put the audio onto a podcast feed. And it's just super easy. And like, I know that I get bombarded with people on social media who say, hey, you should do better editing. Your videos could be more engaging, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the problem is, do I want to make my videos more entertaining and appealing to people who want to watch them? Or do I want to make sense to the person who's struggling with potentially $1 million investment and they're trying to figure out something they don't understand and has the means to engage with me if they want to hire me to help them make that decision? And that's the kind of person I want to reach. And so I don't think much about how to make my videos more engaging or make them viral or more watched. I'm thinking just about the person I'm trying to reach and what it would be like for me to sit across from them and have a conversation with them. And so that's why there's no sound effects or B-roll footage or any of that kind of stuff that you see creep into videos today. And when I see that on some creators' content, I think to myself, okay, here's somebody who's trying to get more views or whatever. But I sometimes wonder if they're really thinking about their ideal client and who they might be trying to attract to their business.
Yeah. And that's a really great point because a lot of the audience, they're like trying to get more followers and subscribers and viewers, and it's all of these vanity metrics. And I love how you're talking about very just, can you make money? Can you generate revenue from these tools as opposed to just what's the shiniest thing? You also have a significant following on LinkedIn and Twitter, which you've used these videos and is there something about YouTube in the audience? Is it like your particular, like people that are wanting to buy and sell businesses going to YouTube? What's the difference between really, like, there's people on LinkedIn and Twitter?
Between the three audiences? So it's a great question. So basically the library of content, as it were, is on YouTube. And the reason why I'm on LinkedIn in such a big way is because that's where business people are. And so I create a lot of posts and articles on LinkedIn. A lot of them feature embedded YouTube videos. So again, back to this whole idea that YouTube makes it easy to embed things and put them in other places. So on a Wednesday morning, when my new video comes out, it gets released on YouTube. It also appears on my blog site, for example, as a blog post. And then there's a LinkedIn article that gets published as well. And it appears as an article with the embedded video. And then the people on LinkedIn who subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter, they get that in their regular email. They get a thing saying, David put out a new article. Here's it is. And when they open it up, the video's there, right? Wow. The reason why I'm on X is because of its leverageability. So X is one of the social media platforms that has one of the highest degrees of discoverability. And I would say that if you are trying to do business with people anywhere, like if you are not strictly a local business, then I think that X is an important platform. The reason why I'm at 9,300 or so followers on X is because I've worked really hard to meet about 3,000 people. And I put one post out one day that got picked up or retweeted by a really big account with their comments. And I got 6,000 followers from that.
Wow.
So it's like literally, that's the kind of out of the ballpark sort of thing you can have on a platform like X that I don't really think you can have anywhere else. If you happen to interact with the right people and get the right people to share, comment, etc., you can suddenly be put in front of a lot of other people. Now, again, if you're that dentist in Atlanta and you're put in front of a lot of people who are nowhere near your office, it may not be all that helpful. But if you're selling to anyone anywhere, then I think X is a really important platform. And it's that discoverability aspect that put it on my radar as something I should do. And again, a lot of the stuff that we share on there are like the videos and, things, pull quotes from different videos I've made and just quotes from books that I've written and stuff like that.
Interesting. Another question I have for you is, because you mentioned repurposing for LinkedIn and your blog and your newsletter. Are you using a team? Are you doing that yourself or using AI? Because your audiences overlap. So if they get the same type of content, they're just inundated and you'll get unsubscribes, or how do you address that?
Yeah. And so here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you get unsubscribes. And this again relates to the whole vanity metric thing, right? So there are people who've discovered me on a social media platform like YouTube and never watch me on YouTube because they learn that they can listen to the audio on a podcast catcher. And so every week they listen to me in their car. They do not watch the video on YouTube. Now, if I was a YouTuber trying to do everything I could to juice my numbers on YouTube to get the highest possible views, metrics, etc., I wouldn't like that. I would want everybody to watch it on YouTube to reinforce the technical aspects of the algo for YouTube.
Yeah.
But I don't care. So it doesn't matter to me. And you're right. I've gotten emails from people before who say, "Oh, I follow you you put out so much stuff. I've been following you for months and I only just realized it's all the same stuff." And so I'm like, yeah, it's however you want to consume it.
Yeah.
And so that's what's happening is a lot of my videos on YouTube are watched by people who don't subscribe. And the reason for that is they might be watching them on LinkedIn. Right. So they might be following me on LinkedIn. And so they're notified every time I put something out over there and they watch the video, but they're watching it embedded. So they're not registering as a viewer on YouTube. And you really have to free yourself from the concepts or the hype around these vanity metrics, I think, if you're going to follow this kind of methodology. For me, the thing that's important for us are sales and earnings. So we look at how many new customers are we getting? What are the revenues we're collecting? How much money are we making? Just like any other business out there. Those are the important things for us. And as long as, not to say we ignore what's happening on social media, but we actually use an extremely unscientific way to measure our social media impact. We just have a list of all the social medias that I'm on and the total number of followers. And as long as that aggregate total is increasing all the time, then we figure we're making good content that people like.
Yeah, fascinating. I know the other question I have, because we talked about vanity metrics, and what's interesting is I'm not sure if you did any paid ads, but sounds like you got discovered and really went viral or exploded through organic search and just people consuming and liking. So the algos push that up. But I've recently, a lot of people, they use paid ads to just scale. What are your thoughts on advertising? Do you use advertising? I know because I've experimented with it, and the results are dramatic. It can really shortcut your path to success.
Ever since they brought out the promoted content tab on YouTube, I've been playing with it. So what I've been doing is I've been choosing very select videos. I've been putting small budgets like $100 or $200, and I've been looking to see what happens. And it's been very interesting to me because I will be very selective about which countries I choose to promote to, and I'll be very selective about the video I choose to promote. And I know there was another speaker there at VidFest who talked about promoting a video to countries that have a lot of people, right, where you might be able to get a lot of new subscribers. But those people aren't going to end up being customers, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I'm very selective, if I say, I want to promote this one video because it speaks to a certain kind of person, and I'm only going to promote it, say, in Canada and USA, what I find is that it costs me almost $1 to get a new subscriber.
Wow.
And you put $200 in and you get like 200 more subscribers. And so I haven't seen this really big uptick in growth of subscribership. Yeah. But again, I'm very particular about how I'm using this. I want to find the right viewers. And if I was trying to monetize through AdSense and just get as many views as possible, then yeah, it might make more sense to promote to some of those big population countries out there that might bring me a lot more viewers.
Yeah, fascinating. Yeah, last thing is, how can people find your channel, follow you on LinkedIn, follow your content, check out your book as well? Really encourage all these links.
It's really easy. If you just look up David Barnett Small Business, literally anywhere, you'll find me. And just subscribe to my stuff. If you go to davidcbarnett.com, that's my main blog site. It'll direct you to my main blog site. I post new stuff there all the time. And then if you're really curious, get on my email list. I send out emails all the time. And I tell stories and give examples of different things in the world of deal making or small business management that people find helpful. And we're here to help people if they want to do a deal. The mission of our company is to help people avoid bad deals. And that means buyers and sellers. And bad things happen to both of them. And unfortunately, I've seen a lot of people go through these pains. And for a lot of people, buying or selling a business is going to be done maybe one time in their life. And it's a very big, complicated thing. And we're here to help.
Yeah. And I know for a lot of the doctors and dentists, they've got private practices. They want to sell their business one day. And so I think Dave is a great resource. And thanks so much for coming on. And I think we have overlapping audiences. So I think this really was beneficial and added value. So keep up the great work.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks for having me today. It's always a lot of fun. I was a guest on the Financial Freedom Podcast with Dr. Chris Liu, and it was a blast. Come check it out.